Well, it's time for Why Minigunner is Trash Part 2. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Like, 25,000 views is just really insane for me, and I'm glad about how the video turned out well. And yeah, let's get into the video. Minigunner is one of the oldest towers in Tower Defense Simulator, releasing ever since TDS existed. It's inspired by the Commando Tower in Title Battles, where both towers use miniguns to damage enemies. Right now in TDS, it costs about 8,000 coins in the shop, and the reason why Minigunner is so iconic in the first place is because how simple it is. The tower has no real gimmicks that modify it besides the rev up time, which shouldn't really be considered a gimmick. It's relatively easy to use, which is why most players in TDS like this tower. However, the main reason why I am making this video is to explain why Minigunner isn't a good tower even after the buff from August 2024. So let's get into the reasons why Minigunner isn't good. The first problem with the Minigunner tower is how the tower has a very low range. For a late game tower, the range is awful, having only 15 range at max. Even though each Minigunner deals roughly 170 DPS, it doesn't really matter when it's not going to reach that many enemies, and the tower can get stunned and debuffed. Minigunner also having no placement limit isn't a good thing. If you keep spamming the tower, you'll run out of good tower spots, making Minigunner not be able to deal that much damage to the enemies. Low range Minigunner is not really a bad idea. However, Minigunner would be better if it had some advantages like taking less base, maybe being immune or resistant to stuns and debuffs, which will make the tower feel more worth it to use because of the mediocre range. But without reworking the tower, Minigunner won't ever be good with the low range. You have to instead compensate by giving it a higher range of maybe around 22 or 24 at max, which while is boring, is the only other way to make Minigunner tower feel useful for the sheer amount of weaknesses it has. Obviously, you're going to have to make some changes, like making it more expensive. While it might sound like a nerf, it's generally a buff because Minigunner will be able to reliably defend more enemies now as it has actual range. Another problem with the Minigunner tower is how it has no placement limit. While it may seem like a good thing, it really isn't. Minigunner having no placement limit causes the tower to take a lot of space, giving less of a chance to place other towers like engineers and less of a chance to have minigunners in commander's range. You can also only have 20 to 25 towers in a quad or a trio. So why even place about 15 to 20 minigunners for mediocre range and still space when you can just bring ranger and turret for DPS? The only actual time you're bringing Minigunner at all if you're doing solo Badlands with the OP consumables like fire rate flag, damage flag, and range flag, which Minigunner gets benefited the most out of any tower. But consumables shouldn't even count when ranking towers because they're so overpowered and aren't really legitimate, as they can literally deny other towers' weaknesses. So now, in order to make Minigunner good, it should have a placement limit of 10 to 12 and be very expensive, but it should have higher DPS and way better range. While this is basically just Accelerator 2.0, you can make this tower more different by making it extremely expensive to max all minigunners to compensate for the higher DPS. This will be more like an evergreen war machine tower, which I think is a lot cooler than having the boring no limit mediocre range tower, which would never be good. So I believe for Minigunner, having it have about 220 DPS, 10 limit, 24 range, and costing about 45,000 to max in total for it. While it may seem like a huge cost efficiency nerf, you have to realize how Minigunner literally gains 10 more range and it gains 50 more DPS. It's also around the cost efficiency of a max turret with similar range, so I would say this is pretty worth it. I tried this in Sandbox and it did pretty well against some bosses with 10 and 20 minigunners with support. Now let's talk about the Golden Minigunner tower. Golden Minigunner is a very flawed tower outside of solos. The only time it's ever useful is when you are playing solo Badlands or solo Polluted Wastelands, because again, consumables which are OP. Thanks TDS. Golden Minigunner is also very expensive to get. You have a very low chance of getting it in a golden crate for 50,000 coins, or you buy it in a daily shop for 70,000 coins. So that's about 78,000 coins just to get this tower in the daily shop. That's like longer to get than the Accelerator, bro. Anyways, this tower is just not good in general. It also has the same flaws with normal Minigunner having a mediocre range and not many benefits to back up the fact that it has mediocre range. However, the worst part about this tower is the rev out time. If you guys didn't know, max golden minigunner rev up is about 2.25 seconds, which allows golden minigunner to be even more effective by stuns, as once his tower is stunned, he'll have to rev up again, which is wasting about, let's say, about 500 damage for each minigunner. So if you have literally 15 golden minigunners, you're losing about 7,500 damage each time the boss stuns all of them from the rev up time alone. This is just an easy fix, however. Just make max rev up time about 0.5 seconds, so you can save a few hundred extra damage from each minigunner. Also, even though golden minigunner has a placement limit of 15, what's the point? Most of the time, you're going to have 15 minigunners anyways, so it's the same tower. I believe that the tower should have been like a placement of about 10, and while that's similar to Accelerator, I think it's fine. Golden minigunner won't ever really be good of a tower with this current concept, unless you make it like a worse version of War Machine, which I believe will be the best way to buff it. Anyways, here's my stats for both Minigunner and Golden Minigunner. They might be a bit too strong, but they can always change anyways, so I believe it's fine for right now. Anyways, that's about it, for my opinions. Now, I'm going to interview some fellow content creators and some skilled TDS players to see their thoughts on Golden Minigunner and Minigunner. And the first person is... starting big. We're starting with Elite, the biggest ongoing TDS esport with over 300,000 subscribers. And thanks to Elite for coming out in this interview, by the way.
Hello.
What do you think of Minigunner right now?
So Minigunner right now is just unnecessary. There's better advanced towers like Ranger, but it just gets stunned too easily and its range is too small.
So how would you change Minigunner? Like, would you rework it, buff it, or nerf it?
Well, because it's a spam tower, right? Maybe make it stronger the more minigunners you have in its range. That would mean like, its damage increases the more of them you get. It's just like that. Maybe the buff wouldn't really increase their damage, but would increase their range because that's kind of the biggest issue with it.
Alright, even though he had more to say, I'm going to show some other content creators to add some more variety and probably make it shorter since that's the first one. So yeah, enjoy, and yeah, next one is Corso. Hello Corso.
It's good, big man.
What do you think of Minigunner?
I think it's a good tower to have in the game because it's like the most basic form of DPS. It's easy to understand because like something like the engineer is more complicated. But in terms of how good it is, I mean, it's pretty lackluster. Especially normal minigunners, like, I mean, just no reason to ever use it. Even golden, it kind of ends up being a bit unreliable to use because its range is so short. It's really got an outclass though with like pursuit and stuff.
How would you change Minigunner? Like, would you rework it, buff it, or nerf,
I don't think they should rework it because it's just like it's like the beginner's version like of a DPS tower. But overall, I think it just needs more range.
Next up, we have Craze Rex. He's easily one of the most skilled TDS players, so yeah.
Minigunner sucks, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This tower like got reworked like 2 times, right? I mean, they call it a rework, but like,
yeah,
it does the same thing, bro. It's mid, bro. I think it needs like a whole like actual mechanical rework to like change how it works so it's actually good. Because the way that it's working right now, it just doesn't work. So I'd probably give it like statistically, probably just give it more range and like less placement limit. Because
yeah,
like it being a spammable tower is like not really good in the meta and stuff.
Next one is Dank. He's Dank. What else can I say?
It's pretty mediocre right now.
Mhm.
Both of the versions. I'm specifically thinking about Golden Minigunner because I don't think I've used normal Minigunner in like 6 months probably. They have like low range, so if they're stunned once, they won't be able to attack the enemies for like 20 seconds, and then they're already out of the range of a Minigunner. I think definitely increase the range of it.
Mhm.
Make the rev up time at max like a little... Make the rev up time like less impactful probably.
Yeah.
Make the lower levels like more cost efficient, and
The last one I have is Tom. He's easily the best solo hardcore player, doing a lot of solo hardcore stuff, and yeah, you can check out his channel. And since he's solos, he has good opinions on Minigunner probably, yeah.
Minigunner is one of TDS's most iconic towers, but over recent years, it's just over time gotten weaker with less range, but more DPS. And because of this, towers like Military Base or Crook Boss have been overshadowing it. While I don't think the tower needs a rework, I think it needs a definite range increase and
Alright.
maybe a rev up change, especially for golden. The golden minigunner has a 2-second rev up, which just doesn't work with the tower or fit the tower.
Alright, thank you so much everyone for watching this video. Check out the other content creators that I interviewed in this video. Thanks to them, without them I wouldn't have interviewed anyone. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. And yeah, see you, and I love you guys. And subscribe to my YouTube channel and like the video.